before I share my PPT, I just want to tell you that the today's session is structured in such a way that I will use the PowerPoint, and initially I will tell you little, very few slides about the theory of qualitative analysis, just to keep it rolling. And after the first part is over, about a few slides on the theory, then we will go to the second part, which is I will explain to you before using the software that what are the different things we can do, and especially in the Twitter mining. So what is Twitter mining and how actually the methodology is used? That background method I will discuss with you, along with some of the screenshot of the software. And in the third part, we will use one example, and we'll with that example we will use the software, and we will try to find out, analyze that example. So I think it is a three-part kind of presentation. So I will try to keep myself as short as possible and try to finish 1 to 1 hour to 1 hour 15 minutes or little more, and followed by question answer. So I will try to be short. Okay. So let me share the PowerPoint, and we can start with the PowerPoint. I hope you can see the PowerPoint, Sujata. Okay, that's good. Okay, fine. So this is the first slide of the PowerPoint, and here I'm trying to explain that what actually we do in qualitative analysis. The first thing which happens in a qualitative analysis, that we encounter unstructured data. Why it is unstructured? We may have used some students or some survey groups to find data, and they might not have used a single format, and the design is such that some of the data is in the interview form, some of the data is in audio clips, video clips, and some of the related data may be in the form of news cuttings, so different types of unstructured data which require data mining, right? So this is normally the situation which happens in a qualitative analysis. And another thing what we do in qualitative analysis is that data is collected through observations, already existing contents of all types. It can be even videos, it can be movie clips, and it can also be the video clips of the advertisements, especially for marketing people. You can actually analyze the video clips or the stills of the, which means images also, of different brands, right? So that is also possible using this NVivo 12. So that portion we may not be able to cover today. I will tell you how to import the data, but how to treat the data, that portion will require a lot of time. So I will not be able to do that, but it will be easy for you. Once you import the data, you can definitely do that kind of analysis in this kind of software. So, but what I'm trying to tell you, that what we do in qualitative analysis is that we encounter this kind of different types of data. So another thing what we do in qualitative analysis, that we do not test hypotheses or previous theories. Generally, in majority of the times, we do not test any hypothesis like we do in quantitative analysis, or test the previous theories. In qualitative analysis, what we do, we develop new theories based on observation on the results of qualitative analysis. So this is we normally call as grounded theory. So we try to create a grounded theory which actually should not be generalized. Our finding or the grounding theory should not be generalized. It should be used at the right place. So that requires some kind of experience and knowledge. So that is the some of the characteristics of the qualitative analysis. And there are few more things what we do in qualitative analysis. We try to answer research questions rather than test the hypothesis. So instead of testing the hypothesis, what we do, we answer the research questions. Now, research questions like, for example, whether Donald Trump was right in his reaction to the outbreak of coronavirus. Did he misjudge the details given by Chinese government? So you want to answer these questions in qualitative analysis. Or, for example, why Americans are exploding with riots during such a pandemic? Why is it happening? It doesn't happen, or it cannot be a coincidence that there is a pandemic as well as there is riots, and that too the riots related to racism. So these kind of questions could be the research questions which need to be answered. That is the objective of qualitative analysis. Now, another thing what we do in qualitative analysis is that we examine the perception, action, and feeling of the participants. Right? So herein, what we are trying to do is more of the observation, which again requires experience, and knowledge. Okay. Now, another thing which is very different from what we encounter in quantitative analysis, which we do not encounter in qualitative analysis, is that herein we use words like coding, themes, transcripts. For example, transcripts of interviews of the CEOs of the 15 companies or 20 companies. So you have transcripts of the interviews. Then we talk of the words like word tree, word cloud, mind map, text mining, etc., etc. So these words are very different from the kind of terms we normally use in quantitative analysis. Now, in qualitative analysis, what is the design? So these are the portion. These are the designs, and what is this? These are the techniques. Okay. So we have something called the design is grounded theory, which is based on the experience, observation, which we call as thematic analysis. So what we are doing, we are analyzing the themes. So if we have some method of analyzing the theme, sometimes it is there that we do not even understand what is the theme. So for example, when we are talking about the reaction of Donald Trump, initial reaction of Donald Trump to the pandemic, what was in his mind, whether it was the politics or the public good, we don't know. So what actually was the theme, sometimes we do not know. So we have to do some experiencing of the speeches of Donald Trump and his articles to find out and bring out a grounded theory. For example, grounded theory can be that Donald Trump is more biased towards politics rather than the public good. So this can be a grounded theory. Again, we don't know the theme, so we have to analyze the theme. It's based on experience, it's based on the observation. Then there is another design in qualitative analysis, which is called ethnography. And what is the technique of ethnography? It is based on understanding the culture. By what technique? And the technique is content analysis. We do the content analysis. It can be text analysis, it can be video content analysis, it can be image content analysis, right? So suppose we want to understand the culture of an organization. So what we will do in that organization, we will collect some contents. For example, what time the people come, what time the people leave, what is the 5 years growth story of the people, what are the data, how much increments they got in last 5 years, those kind of data. Sometimes it can be also the communication, inter-employee communications that will be again a content only. So using those content analysis, we try to understand the culture of our organization, and that is what is here we are what we are doing in qualitative analysis. Our design is ethnography. Now, another thing is, another design in qualitative analysis is the phenomenology. Again, dear participant, let me tell you that these are very, very common theories, what I'm going to discuss, so that you know, just I'm trying to refresh to you very basic theories of qualitative analysis. I'm just refreshing your mind, and so many people, many of you might be already knowing it. So I'm just repeating these things. So in this design of phenomenology, we observe the phenomena using the sentiment analysis. So what is the sentiment analysis? For example, we want to understand that with the incoming new leader in our organization, for example, with the new incoming leader or a CEO in an organization, we try to see that has anything changed in the organization? Has the organization become better performing or not performing, or people are feeling bad? So this phenomena, if we want to understand, we can use sentiment analysis, because employees are there, they know the organization, they know the change management which is happening. So we, using those change management data, we try to look at the phenomena and try to see whether people are strongly positive, moderately positive, moderately negative, or strongly negative. So we can categorize those sentiments at least in 4 categories. You can be more categories also. You can also put neutral categories in between. So it will become 5 categories. So we can do this kind of sentiment analysis. Again, we need, of course, we need contents for this also, right? So collecting the right content for doing this is very important. So in fact, today I will be showing you this sentiment analysis using the Twitter mining, that how this sentiment analysis can be done. So that part I will take up definitely. And then, you know, another design of qualitative analysis is the field research, where we use a method which we all know, which we also use in quantitative analysis. And this is the field research, and wherein generally it is text, generally. So what we do in the field research, we collect data through surveys or other means, and we use that data or transcripts for doing text mining, and this design is called field research. And last but not the least, the common design in qualitative analysis are the narratives. So narratives are the method used in narratives is the to link the thing in a story form, right? Wherein probably we use image analysis. So for example, I'll give you an example. Suppose you want to talk about the emerging trends in Bollywood. So you have a lot of images starting from post-independent era. You have, you know, black and white pictures, and especially the posters which used to be there in the form of hoardings. So you can have these archives. You can do the analysis that using those images, how Bollywood evolved, where Bollywood is moving. So it's like a story about Bollywood. So for example, look at the movie Om Shanti Om, if I remember the name correctly. So something similar was there, the old and the new. So again, it's a story based. And look at this movie, it was all purely images in this movie, which actually worked. So this qualitative analysis in research would be called as narratives. So this is, you know, just a refresher from my side.